I've been a proud rural American my entire life. But the truth is, in rural America, poverty is higher, wages are lower, and jobs are far and few between.
Florida beaches are empty because racism don't pay the bills. Now, those beaches and businesses are empty in Florida, and the business owners are scratching their head. They're like, I don't understand what's happening and why this is going on. This is what happens when you build your entire platform on bigotry and fear. When you spend years attacking immigrants, the very people who visit your state, spend money in your hotels, eat at your restaurants, buy your tacky ass beach towels. Don't act shocked when they stop showing up. And understand, it's not just tourists who aren't coming to Florida. When you squeeze the working class like a lemon, there is no juice left for joy. You think people got beach money right now? People can't even afford to go outside. And all those Trump tariffs, those weren't on corporations. Those were Trump taxes on us. Prices went up, jobs got cut, and now folks are choosing between groceries and gas, not plane tickets to Clearwater. And y'all made Florida a hostile environment, honestly. And not just for immigrants, but also for black people, LGBTQ, teachers, hell, even librarians. Y'all made the beach a battleground. So now it's just you and those overpriced souvenir stands collecting dust. And now conservative business owners are mad. But they're mad at the consequences of the policies that they voted for. Baby, this ain't karma. This is cause and effect. Conservative policies destroy communities, period. So ask yourself, how long are you guys going to continue to vote against your own business?
Oh, MAGA, you're in trouble. Apparently there's a shortage of workers on the farm. But don't worry, MAGA. Brooke Collins, who heads agriculture, says that she has a solution. Seems like Trump and Brooke Collins have put their heads together and come up with a solution to solve the problem on the farms losing workers. Let's watch the video and see what Brooke Collins has to say to solve this issue.
Score enough. There will be no amnesty. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way, and we move the workforce towards automation and 100% American participation, which again, with 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. Thank you.
Did you hear that, MAGA? They're saying if you're able-bodied and on Medicaid, you are going to work in the fields. MAGA, this is where it hits you. You're going to work in the fields. And you're going to see what it's like for these undocumented immigrants to come to America and work a hard day's labor in the American fields. Get ready to pack up Mima and Pop-Pop and put them on a bus and send them to the fields, MAGA. That's what you voted for, and that's what you deserve. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments. Have a day.
And here's another cold hard fact. Beginning with the New Deal, continuing through to the Great Society, and ending just recently with the President's infrastructure bill, the Democrats in both rural and urban America have fought to provide a social safety net that's much needed in rural America while offering targeted incentives to help rural America grow. And our question is, when are conservatives in rural America going to join us in the fight? Hi guys, my name's Will, your favorite rural campaign and elections expert, and let's talk about it. Here are some hard facts we have to come to terms with in rural America. Nearly 75% of the poor living in rural America come from southern Republican states. Both poverty and our dependence on the social safety net is higher in rural America than it is in our cities and suburbs. In every section of America,
I don't care. I don't fucking care. All these videos on this app about how in 3 weeks the grocery stores are going to be empty, good. Fucking let that fucking play out. Okay, take some precautions, but let that shit play out. Farmers on this app boo-hooing because they're losing their farms, fuck all the way off. What did you think was going to happen? Joe Biden bailed you out, then you turned around and voted for Trump. So yeah, I'm glad that all your government grants and bailouts and farmer welfare got taken away from you. And I hope to God a Democrat buys your land and is profitable. Truckers, Oh my God, the amount of truckers on my algorithm right now boo-hooing that they don't have any loads, which by the way, at first is kind of funny. But what? 90% of you voted for this. What the fuck did you think was going to happen when he tariffed the whole world and there was going to be no product to move around the country? Hello? Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm scared to death of the fucking shitstorm that we are all about to fucking walk through. And the longevity of those empty shelves fucking keeps me up at night. But the only thing that keeps me going is that any day it could happen.
If there are a group of people that wish they could turn back time and make things right, they are white farmers. Why am I saying so? These are a group of people that were blindly fooled by Mr. Donald Trump. And it is sad that this is what has been happening. When you look at history, you'll get to understand that history repeats itself. And that's why they keep telling poor people that, you know, if you remain poor, if you segregate away from black people, there are a couple of things that we're going to get you. And they created this class system. Remember when black farmers really wanted all the things that white farmers had, but they couldn't get, and this forced black farmers to go indigenous. This forced black farmers to go small. And as a result, white farms sprouted. They become big because the white farmers had leverage. The white farmers had advantages. They could get loan. Black communities were being redlined. It means that they can't get loans. They can't get all these farm products. They can't invest in farms because they can't get loans to till the farm. Worst of it all, the black farmers that tried to be resilient were taken away. And how did they do this? First, they made sure that they removed all black farmers that were in these communities, burned down their houses, chased them away out of their land. Massive large lands that belonged to black people were taken and they were turned into white wealth, because agriculture or farming makes one of the biggest productions when it comes to the GDP of the United States. But right now, when we look at farming or agriculture generally in the United States, it's really effed up. Why is it effed up? White people, especially white farmers, are now learning that divided indeed you fall, but united you stand. Only if they could have heard black people, only if they did not decide to remain silent when all these things were being done to black people. When corrupt USDA made them have all those resources and took away from black folks, they decided to remain quiet because it was benefiting them. Only if they could have woken up and spoken up for this and stood with black people and joined a community of farmers, whether black or white, but they didn't want to do this. And so as a result, today what's happening, it's because of they decided to vote for fascism. They decided to vote for greed. They decided to vote for conservatism. They decided to vote to protect their culture. But at the expense of what? At the expense of their pockets, at the expense of their mental health. A couple of those things affected them. So I want us to watch this video. I don't want to say much in the introductory part, but I just want us to watch this video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my thoughts at the end of it all. But until then, let's watch the video. I'll be back. I'm just asking you just a simple plea. If you're watching me for the first time, I'm just asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join my membership, and really get to where I can offer you. But until then, let's watch the video. I'll be back.
I don't know if it's just me or what, but I was so excited for Trump to get back into office. For what? For what? I mean, prices are still bad. They're rising. Hell, everybody's struggling. I mean, wasn't you supposed to help us? Wasn't you supposed to? But he's not worried about us because, I mean, he's balling. He's rich. He ain't worried about it.
These prices are way too expensive. Everything is going up every single day. Yeah, tariffs. Yeah, they're supposed to make the country great and bring all this money in. But who pays the tariff costs, guys? American citizens pay the tariff costs. It's not these other countries. It's not the companies. They're just passing the cost and the burden down onto the consumer.
I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of the top 10 most hardcore DJT states. And this is the list that it gave me: Wyoming, West Virginia, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Idaho, Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky, South Dakota, and Tennessee. And I specifically asked for this list because I just want to make sure that I can sleep at night knowing we're all on the exact same page. Until I know that you know how severely impacted these top 10 states are going to be with the policies that are in this big, beautiful bill. This big, beautiful bill is about to blow up rural America. I know I'm speaking to you right now when I say that you know somebody who is on social services of some sort, whether that's a single mom, whether that's an elderly person, whether that's somebody with a disability, or that's somebody who has a diabetic foot ulcer. I know the patient populations in rural communities. I have spent my entire medical career learning from rural physicians in a rural place, okay? And what is happening in the fine print, in the language y'all don't usually speak, because who does? Are things that are going to destroy the livelihoods of so many hundreds of thousands of people in your communities, wreck your economies, rip away resources, rip away opportunities, and leave you in the dust. Even if you're somebody who lives in one of these places that is able to afford life and your family and you don't rely on any government services at all, I want you to consider what would happen if you couldn't utilize those services for your mom, your dad. I want you to imagine what would happen if all of a sudden your child had a crazy accident and you needed a ridiculous amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of durable medical equipment. 29% of the population in West Virginia is on Medicaid. Wyoming, 43,000 people. You got to consider the population of the state as a whole too, okay? So these are large percentages of the populations. Oklahoma, how many people in Oklahoma? Hold on. 25% of the population is enrolled in Medicaid. Medicaid, that's not the senior citizens. Those aren't even the elderly people. Those are the young people, the kids, the young adults, the moms. In Oklahoma, the average income per capita is $58,500. The median household income is $59,700. In this bill, it states that anybody making under, I think it's $50,000, will be seeing an increase in taxes. I'm sure anybody making less than $50,000, no matter what state you live in right now, is having a really hard time. Are you not? So now the plan is not only to increase the taxes that you're paying on the minimal income that you do make, but also remove your access to government services like Medicaid. Why? Because you're an able-bodied young person. You should be able to handle it. Sorry. Oh, we don't believe in college here. It brainwashes you. So we're capping our population's ability to continue to climb those ladders of socioeconomic status by being able to obtain high-paying jobs that provide you with insurance benefits. Those things aren't available if you're working trade jobs. And there's nothing wrong with working trade jobs. That's why we're fine paying y'all's Medicaid. But when you take that away, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Do you know how much it costs to buy diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and pain medicine without Medicaid? It's not just the people of color that are benefiting from these services, and that's what you're not understanding. If you take the population at large, yes, there are a high percentage of people in places like California that are relying on these services, and maybe you don't think that you owe that to them. But if you don't think you owe it to your own community, then you need to look in the mirror. The comments are open to respectful people, but I am a big fan of the block button. All to benefit the person who built his entire campaign by exploiting the very things that y'all care about the most based on your religious beliefs and your morals and your values, being hardworking, pull up your bootstraps, go on, get them, wipe your tears away people. He did that on purpose, and it is so sick. It's so sick because whether...
I think one of the reasons why so many rural people voted MAGA is if you come to a small town, which my family is largely from, you see it's generations of people who haven't done anything with themselves other than be exactly where they are. So they come for entire people, groups of people, ethnicities of people who have done everything they can to be somewhere else. I would probably be a little bitter and jealous too. And I taught my son this weekend, look around you. You'll be able to pick it out. And if they're going to be so good at picking people out and isolating others, you can turn the energy around. And it's crazy that so many people who would be so against so many things, who would probably benefit from some kind of dental care at least, would be so blind and ignorant to whether or not they would be able to get it or other people could as well.
These rural towns, mostly in red states, are really about to be in the find out. First, let me tell you what the Trump administration did with this big, beautiful bill that they think is pretty slick. You see, most of these things with Medicaid cuts aren't going to go into effect until 3.5 years down the line. When is that?
when Donald Trump is no longer president. You see, he doesn't want to be able to take credit. He doesn't want anyone to blame him for hospitals closing and people losing their Medicaid. So he delayed everything until he's out of office. And so what he gets to do with this is he gets to say that, oh, all of the things that are happening to these hospitals and with Medicaid and everything, that's all Joe Biden's fault, because my stuff doesn't kick in for 3 years. Then when it were to kick in, if it is to kick in, it's going to get worse. So for the most part, the next president, probably a Democrat, is going to have to come in and overturn all the things that he did just so people don't lose their Medicaid and a lot of these hospitals don't close up. But unfortunately, many of these hospitals are anticipating what's to come, and they're already planning that they're going to have to close up in the next 3 to 7 years. But you have J.D. Vance out there, of course, blaming Joe Biden for everything that's going on right now during the Trump administration, and out here saying that they put in provisions and they put in fail-safes so that rural hospitals won't have to close. Meanwhile, rural hospitals are planning on closing. So let's listen to J.D. Vance with this bullshit talking about they're saving rural hospitals when we know that's not the truth. First of all, let me point out, did you notice when he was saying all the bullshit, all the stuff none of these people have ever heard of? He got no applause at all. So then he decided to go to the Trump card. He went to the card, the ace of spades, which is the racism. He's like, nobody's cheering when I'm talking about healthcare and Medicaid and rural hospitals. You know what? Illegal aliens need to get the hell out of here. We want them out of here. We're getting the Mexican people out of here. And then all of a sudden the racists are like, yeah, because they know that. They understand the racism. That's the part they love the most about Donald Trump. You see, policy means nothing to them. They don't care that their gas prices and grocery prices are still going up. They don't care about that. They care that, one, they think they're owning the libs, and two, the racism. They like the fact that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are as racist as they are. And let me point something else out. He's talking about all the problems during the Biden administration. You know what? If you Google rural hospital closures during Biden's administration, you don't find a bunch of articles about that. But during the Trump administration, you find a bunch of articles about rural hospitals that are anticipating having to close, and it is because of the cuts to Medicaid in the big beautiful bill. That is the only reason. That's the only reason they cite when they talk about their rural hospitals closing. Don't believe me? Here's a video of a news station talking about a hospital closing in their area because of all the cuts to Medicaid. The fact that this administration is trying to claim that this isn't happening when we could easily access the information that proves it's happening right now is fucking crazy. But this is how dumb they know the MAGAs are. And if that's not enough for you, here's another article about 9 rural hospitals in Illinois that are also at risk of being closed, along with a video that talks about how the big beautiful bill is cutting millions of people off of their Medicaid.
As a person that's had MAGA family their whole life, even before it was called MAGA, I can tell you that they have always been able to dish it, but never been able to take it. Not ever. These people are so fucking mean, okay? And they always have been. My father is from deep, deep, deep rural Southeast Missouri. I still live in Missouri, but I live in Kansas City today, a stunning oasis compared to the rest of Missouri. But my dad left home when he was 18 to go to college, literally for the reason of wanting to make a better life for himself, because he grew up in a tiny, tiny, deep, deep red, incredibly racist, incredibly sexist town with a single mother. So like, he had a lot of this knowledge that life wasn't going too well for them, you know? And his mom tried really hard. She wasn't perfect, but she did her best, but their circumstances were not the best, and he knew he needed to go get an education and go do something else. So he got a football scholarship for his first year, and then he worked to cover the other years. And I think he also got other financial help from other places, but he busted his ass to leave this town, to go to college, to make a better life for now me and my sibling. Like literally, he knew from that very young age that he wanted kids, that he wanted a family, that he just wanted a better life for himself. You know what my family, still back in Southeast Missouri, still calls him to this day? A traitor. They call him a family traitor for leaving Southeast Missouri, for leaving them behind, and they call him elitist because he wanted to go live in the city. He wanted a better life because, you know, we settled in Kansas City, which is a decent sized city. It's not huge, but it's, you know, We've got tall buildings. There's a lot of stuff to do around here. And literally this started from the moment he went to college. They started saying this the moment he left, and he is now 50 years old. And they still say this to him whenever he shows up. And earlier this year, well, actually, I guess it was late last year when Trump won the election, they just fucking started spamming him texts about Trump. And my father was dark woke before dark woke was a thing, because he is on the left, but he will be mean about it, okay? He will spout left-wing talking points in your face with the vigor of a Fox News conservative talk show host. He's not super nice about it all the time, but like they started it and they're also not nice about it, so like who gives a fuck, right? But literally last year Missouri was putting abortion on the ballot. They're putting it on the ballot again next year. Love living in a fascist state that doesn't give a fuck what their citizens want. But it was on the ballot last year. And so my dad, being the good person that he is, was trying to get them to vote in favor of, you know, allowing abortion to be legal in this state. And they literally were like, no, baby killer, blah, blah, blah. Here's some lore about my father. His mom had an abortion before she had him, okay? And they were pulling out that fact, and they were saying like, your mom's a baby killer, your mom, you know, his mom's dead now, by the way. Yeah, she's dead. She can't defend herself. But they just said these things to him just out of the kindness of their own hearts. And I just fucking hate when MAGA acts as if they're all like, oh, we just want to be left alone. We just stop shoving all your stuff in my face. Like, if you would just let us live, we wouldn't bother you. It's like, that's not true. Because you've been bothering and shitting all over my father and us too. Like, by association, like they don't like me or my sibling or my mom really either. We're all city elitists, even though we literally live in a mid-sized Midwest city. It's not fucking New York over here. It's not even Chicago. And they've been so fucking mean to us our whole lives. And I hate it when conservatives get on this app and act like they're the victims. It's like, no, you're fucking not. I know you've been this way to people your whole life. You've always been assholes. My father literally cut ties with a lot of his family this year because they kept just fucking antagonizing him about Trump and texting him about Trump and telling him how they like that the libs get upset when they talk about it, the libs being him, right? And they're his fucking family. Like, he grew up with them. He was actually like close with these people at one time. These are people that helped raise him. And then they decided they hated him when he went off to college, that he was an elitist, that he was a traitor to the family because he decided to go try and build a better life. So I don't want to fucking hear it from y'all. You've been mean, you've been shitty for as long as I can remember, and you can't make excuses, okay? I know you guys. I grew up with you guys.
Guys, fellow members of the Blue Hair Brigade, why are they crashing out over Cracker Barrel now? What did we do? Who infiltrated? The same people that talk about things, people reacting weirdly to stuff. Why are they crashing out over Cracker Barrel? I thought they had Dunkin' and like American Eagle jeans and whatever. Cracker Barrel's not going to get the Bud Light treatment, are they? They're not going to go pew up. I don't know. Like, I'm confused. Who's eaten at a Cracker Barrel recently? I got one next to my house. I ain't been in there. Other than saying you get off at the Cracker Barrel exit to get, off the interstate to get to my house, I really don't think about them much enough to care. This is where they're spending energy? Is it because they didn't have anywhere to eat after they went to American Eagle or whatever? I don't understand what's going on. Does this somehow affect national values, family values? I didn't know family values were in Cracker Barrel. Is it because they can't get the tacky shirts anymore? Or will the PTA moms buy their clothes? Like, what's the deal? I don't know. Could something?
Hello, brothers and sisters. It is really devastating to see a white farmer crying that he has nothing to feed on. He has no people to work on their farms. He has no support system. But then they're also asking, why aren't blacks supporting us? Why are we not having a black support? Why are these people so quiet? That raises questions. That raises a lot of concerns, because these are a couple of things that we can't just take for granted. And we need to look at them deeply. We need to look at them and understand the root cause of all these problems. But you get to understand that the root cause of the problems that beat Nebraska, beat name all those rural states that practice farming, they are self-inflicted. It is a problem that they're the ones who caused for themselves. And it is time for them to understand that a support given is a support which is reciprocated. You didn't want black people with you when you had all those opportunities. Why would you want the black people right now? That's just the question that, somebody will ask critically. Then the second thing is, you understand that history repeats itself. Why allow the same old script of Mr. Donald Trump make you fall for his empty promises? And now you hit the wall, you try to look for support, you try to cry, you try to look for people that can support you, but it is late, buddy. It is really, really late, and ain't nobody's gonna be saving you, because that's what you voted for, because that's what you wanted. And I think sometimes we might be remorseful for what we did, but the best lessons that we can learn is from experience. No teacher beats experience. Experience is the best teacher. And white folks, they've just gotten their sermon, they've just gotten their school. There is a reality check that they are having by their own selves, that they made the wrong decisions. But at the end of the day, I think it's right for you to recognize that remaining silent in a situation of injustice makes you a complacent injustice. So this is what is happening. You remain silent because it's not happening to you. You're probably remaining silent because it's happening to black folks. I have my farm. I'm getting all the things. I'm selling them and I'm getting profits, and it's okay. What did Mr. Donald Trump do? He came with tariffs, and all these things affected, and it affected majority of you white farmers. And it really fucked you up. Are we sorry? I don't really know. It's not in my place to say. But all in all, I'd like to say is that the really administration, even in different sectors, not even in farming, really interfered. It really affected majority of white Americans. And it really exposed something. It really exposed the political shock absorbers, social shock absorbers that white folks had. In simple terms, we call it the safety net that white folks had. And when the system was crumbling, it exposed all these safety nets that was there for all these folks, for all this while. If they can't get it, it becomes really impossible. And they'll like to cry online. And so white folks having a problem is something which is being heard online. But black folks, when having a problem, it is something which is structural. To them, it is something which is normal. Without knowing that the unity that needs to be there should be mutual. It doesn't have to be a problem is happening to you white farmers. And then you're looking back to black farmers who have used their pockets, who have used their sweats, who have made it work for them by themselves without any interference. And then you think that now you want to go and sabotage the farm because maybe Mr. Donald Trump has not affected them, but they have affected you, without knowing that these are people who already knew that the system is not theirs. And they tried to find, alternative ways of making this work for them. And it worked for them. Funny enough, you people also had the privilege of employing all these Latinos that you paid poor wages because they didn't have the papers to stay in the United States. And so when they add anything about law, most definitely they'll fear. And you used that to your advantage and you exploited them. But right now, there you go. Again, you want black farmers to come and work on your farms. But you want black people to come and work on their farms. But they can, because they understand their value. They understand who they are. And they have seen you for who you are. And they can't come back and work for you. So you need to accept that you were played. You need to accept the fact that it is high time you wake up, you think for yourself, and you make the right decisions for you, for your family, for your people. But when you let the greed to cloud your mind, that's what really happens. And I think you've learned the best way possible. Because, as I said, experience is the best teacher. Ain't nobody's going to be coming and teaching you that again. But probably human beings are still human beings. Years later, elections will happen. You'll still make decisions in regards to your culture, because you want to preserve your culture, because you're a slave to your culture, because you love your culture too much to the extent that you're not seeing the toll it's having on your mental health. So it is time for you to get to understand that there's a price that is always paid for everything. You wanted your culture so much. That's the price you pay. And now you have your culture. You're not happy. Rural, white farmers, you are too conservative. I don't have a problem with being conservative, but you understand what when you're indoctrinated in so much into your culture that you think that you are better than other people, you fail to see and make decisions blindly, make decisions greedily, because you are protecting something. You're protecting an utopia, something that you think that it's good for you. But look at where it has taken you. Do you see anything to smile about? Honestly, I don't see. Because all I'm seeing is just crying. The losses that you've gone, farm products rotting on the stores, the taxes, the tariffs, how they're affecting you. Really, really diabolical. I really want to know what you think about this video. Again, I'm your host and presenter Generic Stories. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salam.